Okay, so again, I'm Jeff Stone. I have responsibility for contact center products and capabilities at Discover, recently acquired by Capital One. And really today, the story I'm going to share, a little bit different than this morning. This morning was a lot about kind of the future and agentic and capabilities and things like that. This is more around kind of the unlocking success together. It's a little bit more about the journey that we've been on at Discover from a strategy perspective, a philosophy perspective for conversational design and AI. And to remember that, like, while we are excited, maybe even intoxicated by some of the new capabilities, that it is a journey and it does take time to get to the value that we want to come back on stage and talk about. And so, again, today is going to be more around what our journey has been, kind of the migration from our legacy kind of touch tone DTMF capabilities to having a truly conversational contact center, as well as our upgrade to kind of the modern cloud environment. So a little bit more about Discover. So the background of Discover, again, like I shared earlier, recently acquired, but Discover was and is a full suite of financial services products, from our card product, which we're well known for, to personal loans, home loans, student loans at one point in time. And so, and those things are kind of evolving and changing with the merger. But when most people think about Discover, you know, we're known as I see that this is one slide ahead, which is totally fine. I'm missing maybe some images, but that's okay too. The Discover brand is known for customer experience. And we've been ranked number 1 or number 2 in J.D. Power for the past 18 years. And we're recognized across a bunch of syndicated surveys as being, you know, a top performer in Net Promoter Score. And that reputation comes from a long history of innovation, right? It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen for free. Like, that reputation comes from constantly grinding to have the best experience in the industry. I think that, you know, one thing to share is our scale, right? With 100 million interactions annually, like, each one of those is a chance for us to connect with customers, to build a stronger relationship. And, you know, we don't take that for granted. And so, you know, really we're excited to share today just kind of what that journey has looked like for us and how we're capitalizing on conversational capabilities. So today we are going to talk about kind of a few things in that space. We're going to talk about just overall the strategic move of moving to conversational AI and away from kind of legacy and touch tone. You know, when we got to the point where customers are actually able to interact with our brand just using their voice, the same thing that everybody talked about this morning, like using your voice as the modality for interacting with brands, and how do you capitalize on that? We're going to talk about those improvements and what they've made to operational efficiencies. We're going to talk about how those changes have elevated our customer experience above and beyond what it was before. We're also going to talk about lessons learned. So in these transformations, in these journeys, it's like there are bumps in the road. There are things that you don't expect. And so I'll share with you some of the things that Discover encountered along the way, so that wherever you're at in your journey, you can take those into consideration and can maybe figure out how to best apply those learnings. One thing I do want the room to leave with as well, though, is that the transformation that we made from, again, legacy to conversational and natural language is not just a tech upgrade. It wasn't just because that's where the industry was going and that was, you know, what we needed to do. Like, it was a strategic enabler for how we run the contact center at Discover. And so, you know, a little bit of background. We actually started this journey back in 2016. So that's actually like 9 years ago. So that feels like a decade ago, right? And what our problem statement was is we were in a legacy DTMF touch tone experience. And these kinds of tools had a ceiling of performance. We were only able to get to a max of like 65 to 67% utilization. I'll actually pause. I use the word utilization. You guys heard the word containment a lot today. I don't use the word containment. There's a philosophy here as well. The word containment means you are containing people, preventing them from moving, and that may work for certain brands and things that you're going after based on, you know, your outcomes. Discover has made a very intentional decision that we want customers to use our self-service. We want them to make a choice to self-serve. And if we do that well, we get the benefits of the experience and the benefits of the operational efficiencies. And so that was an important thing as well for us, and you're going to hear me again use utilization throughout the day. Something was also changing at that time in 2016, and that was customers' willingness to just talk to things, right? Like, they were starting to talk to Alexas and Google Homes, which were in like 1 in every 3 American households at the time. Like, my kids were starting to talk to things that you can't actually talk to, hoping to get a response. And so with the consumer shift in how they interact with products and brands, with our own kind of limitations of the capability, we had to move on. We had to start to adopt the new technology and start to use that to drive our decisions. Also, operational costs continue to rise. Customer inquiries were and still are getting more and more complex basically every day. And so the things that used to be easy, the freebies, are no longer there. And the inquiries that we're getting now are more complex, more convoluted, take more time, and are more expensive. And so with all of those changes, we embarked on this journey so that we could transform and stay ahead to do better for our company and to do better for our customers. So what did we do? The first thing we actually went out and did was evaluate the marketplace back in 2016. And we were looking for a partner that would share our vision for conversational AI and for conversational design and the vision of how consumers would interact with brands. And we evaluated the big partners, the Nuances, the NICE, the Ciscos. Spoiler alert, I'm here on stage, so we chose Omilia, right? And it was a rigorous evaluation. Like, we put them through like a year-long evaluation to make sure that the capabilities were able to deliver what we wanted and could match what our expectations were for customer experience. And the key differentiator, and I think it's as relevant today as it was then, was how far ahead Omilia was with their natural language accuracy, but also the tooling around it that enabled our team to deliver the results. And so, that was a compliment for just the key capability that made our decision easier to land with Omilia. And at that time, there were still lots of fears around it. Like, there were actually just general fears with chatbots that are probably more relevant now than they were in 2016. There was common fears of collision and challenges with ambiguity. So if you think back in the touchtone days, if I wanted to make a payment, a one-time payment, a scheduled payment, a same-day payment, multiple same-day payments, those all feel kind of hard to get out of a single sentence. But if you're pushing in a menu and pushing buttons, you can probably get to the right one. So we just had fears that hey, would this natural language truly let us disambiguate and understand exactly what the customer needed? And that was a key part of the evaluation as we were landing with Omilia. We were excited about changing the way customers interact with our brand. The IVR is the front door to the contact center, which is the primary thing we market, the primary thing that we put in front of customers, and the primary reason that customers choose Discover. And so given the importance of this asset and equity, we had to make sure that we were doing it right. And some key success metrics was first and foremost customer satisfaction and NPS, and obviously utilization or self-service rates, as well as just being able to truly understand customers' needs. Even if we couldn't automate it, it's very important for us to understand what they need so that we can then take that data, take that info, and make sure that the right agent is handling the right call at the right time. I messed up. So I'm just gonna hit play so you guys can hear what does it sound like. So here's what one of our typical calls sound like, just so you can get an idea of it.
Thanks for calling Discover. Para Español, oprima el número dos. Just so you know, this call may be recorded and monitored. Now tell me, how can I help you?
Talk to a customer service representative.
For a better experience, please tell me the reason for your call.
I'm having problems using my credit card.
Please say or enter the last 4 digits of your Social Security number. Got it. Thanks. Now, I'll need to confirm which card you have. On the back of your card, in the bottom right corner, there's a letter A with 3 numbers. What are those 3 numbers? I see that your card is not activated. Would you like to activate it now?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Your contactless card is now activated and ready to be used. For a fast and easy checkout, you can now tap your card to pay for purchases at millions of places. Visit discover.com/contactless to learn more. Please remove the activation sticker and sign the back of your card. You can now simply hang up or let me know if there's anything else I can help you with.
And so, that experience, I like that experience for many reasons. One is they called in with a need. They said what their need was. They were feeling like they needed to figure out why their card wasn't working. We were able to clearly identify the utterance, the intent, identify that their card was not activated, solve that problem for them, and they were like, all right, cool, actually I'm good. And so, again, just a really simple experience that, would have been much longer, much more convoluted, many more button presses kind of back in the old way. And so, that was kind of just, again, an example of, where we've come as we're delivering kind of these front door experiences. And so that was kind of the first step in the journey, right? It was just moving from legacy to conversational. The next step And the next kind of significant transformation was moving from conversational on-premise. Again, when we made the decision back in 2016, that was the best way to deploy for us, and starting to migrate to capitalize on the benefits of the cloud. And so, we embarked on another comprehensive transformation project. And, this was to make it easier, better, faster, stronger to deploy the capabilities that we know Omilia was launching. And it made it easier to scale those capabilities. And we had to, because we had such a strong kind of on-premise ecosystem, like this was also another significant transformation because we had to now move over 80 self-services from our on-prem experience to now kind of the OCP environment. And that's a big task, and we actually have to do that right. And it's kind of the criticality of this, again, being the front door, being off even 1% hurts everything for Discover in terms of our brand promise, our customer expectations. And so it was really critical that we had the right partner, both as, a vendor like Omilia, but also with managed service providers to help us bring this to life in a way that, does not disrupt or impact our customers. And, we are excited to say that we had no issues during that transformation. It was fantastic. It was seamless to customers. And again, appreciate all the partnership that made that a reality. And so, really, if you think about it, those are two significant transformations from legacy to conversational, from on-prem to the cloud. And now we're in a position which I would say is very foundational to the future of AI in the contact center, having these capabilities, having conversational experience. If you think about operators, what do we all do? We make sure that we have the best conversations with customers, whether it's agents having those conversations, whether it's the IVR having conversations, whether it's a virtual assistant or a digital assistant having those conversations. And so all of this, this work that's gone into the foundation sets our company up really well to take advantage of the advances of language, like large language models, small language models, and how we start to apply those to the future. So let's talk a little bit more about the outcomes, what we're able to actually achieve as a result of the transformation. We were able to see significant improvements to things like utilization, which obviously is a key one. We moved from 66% to mid-70s. And so again, that's fantastic from a cost perspective, but we were able to do that without impacting customer experience, which was a critical component for us. And, we are continuing to enhance that capability. Yes, we're excited about everything that Quinn and others shared this morning, and we're going to take advantage of capabilities like that, but we still have plenty of opportunity right now just to continue to make sure the thing that's in front of customers at scale is working the way we want it to work. And we've been able to use the tools provided to continue to build out more and more experiences faster than we could have, both in previous environments as well as what our time to market was in our on-prem experience. And these changes have basically enabled us to change our operating leverage, right? If we can reduce the cost to serve, maintain our customer experience, we can take all that money and put that into marketing or value or growth or other things. And so, it's been a great kind of universal, or I'd say, partnership success here that has enabled that specific outcome. And, I think this is one of the areas where companies sometimes feel forced to choose. So even back in DTMF days, if you called our IVR and you pressed 0, you got an agent, right? We didn't ask you questions. We just said, sure, we'll connect you to an agent. We keep that today. So in our conversational experience, if you dial 100 Discover and you say agent, we're going to get you to an agent. And that's a decision, right? You can make different decisions to add friction or to make it harder to get to an agent, and you will certainly see higher utilization rates or containment rates if we're going to go that route, right? And so, I think that this is one of the scenarios where we were actually able to choose both. We were able to choose a better customer experience. We were able to choose higher utilization rates. And I think that we want more initiatives and more capabilities that let you choose both. And I think that's where we're excited again about the partnership and what that enables, because we're going to continue to chase customer experience. And we're excited that we're also going to see benefits on the operating efficiencies. So some learnings. When we first changed something for our customers that used to call in every month, and they would literally put in the same numbers and hit the same buttons, and they heard something different. They heard a new voice. They had to figure out a new modality of engagement. Luckily, they've been started to be trained by things like Alexas and Google Homes. We did see a dip in CSAT. Immediately after we launched, CSAT went down. Now, we had set expectations. We had said, hey, we changed something. So we fully expect there is actually going to be a decrease in experience. By setting that expectation earlier, we're able to say, hey guys, you're going to see this. I need you to not freak out. I need you to not look at this and say, hey, we got to reverse course or do these things. Again, NPS is coveted. We protect it. But we had to weather that storm. We had to say, hey, it's going to come back. Don't worry. Like, we just introduced change. Change is difficult, and it will take a period of time to come back. And so we kind of saw our peak after maybe the first month live, and then we started to see NPS start to come back to where we expected it, and it grew even above where we were at with DTMF. So I'd say keep that in mind, is like when you make a change, whether it's going from DTMF to conversational, whether it's going from conversational to agentic, you're changing something. And when you change something to users that use it all the time, you're going to see that impact. So be ready for that, set the expectation for that, and you'll be successful there. What we also saw was some of our highest performing intents, they were now like north of 95%. So some of our key capabilities could now be utilized higher than they ever could have been in the past. And even our lowest performing intents were now in the 40% range. There were even things that we couldn't do in the past. So if you think about things like address change, like that's not something you're going to do in a touch-tone IVR, right? And so there were just new things that became unlocked as part of the new capability set. And by taking advantage of the things that we never would have invested in before, that drove other incremental utilization and customer satisfaction scores. So anyway, like I share some of those lessons. Hopefully it's valuable. But we were able to see, again, tremendous results as part of the partnership. And it is, one thing for me to talk about it. There's actually going to play an audio here of like our customers. Again, customers are actually talking to us. I can't remember the last time and I was around 10 years ago. I don't think I ever listened to a DTMF call. Like I saw the logs, I saw the menus, but I had never listened to one of those calls. We listen to calls all the time now. And it's awesome because customers literally just tell you exactly what they're feeling and all that kind of stuff. So I'm actually going to let you hear what our customers think about it.
I just want to thank you so very much for my Discovery card. I really love it. Thank you so very much. Thank you. And happy Valentine's Day. Thank you.
That'll just be fine. Everything is great. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.
No, thank you very much. Love this system. Bye-bye.
That's all, and I thank you. I love Discover.
No, thank you, and good job. I really love dealing with you on the phone. Very easy.
No, thanks. Thank you, sweetheart. I love your voice.
No, that's okay, but I just want to let you know you're my most favorite automated system. You're almost human. I love you.
I love you guys. I want to pay my bills.
No, that's it. Thank you. And I do love your automated system.
Make a payment. This guy is my favorite automated phone payment operator, and every time he comes on, I get a little smile on my face. I love him. Why? Because he's easy. Make a payment.
Yeah, so again, like this is unprompted. Like this is just customers talking to a completely automated system designed in a way that's meant to take care of customers. And being able to go in and listen to these calls, like you're like, that's nice. Like that's a nice affirmation of kind of where we're at. We also have had multiple proposals to our IVR. Unfortunately, the voice Greg is taken, but still flattering nonetheless. All right, so I think moving on to kind of the customer experience, let's move on to like the agent and the employee experience. So certainly interacting directly with customers, we see the customer impacts that I was just able to share with you guys. But the deployment of these capabilities have also improved our agent and employee experience as well. And so agents are benefiting from the reduced effort of authentication. So we were talking about that earlier today. Prior to these capabilities, we spent a lot of time having customers either fail authentication or the agents having to kind of go through multi-step processes. It takes time, it's redundant, it's not fun. And so, by having improved authentication experiences in conversational design, like our agents were spending less time figuring out who the customer was and more time literally just helping them with their concerns, which was lower AHT, improved customer experience overall, improved agent experience. And there was just benefit of understanding customer needs without all the repetitive questions. So like once somebody tells us what they need in the IVR, when it lands with our agents, they know exactly what the intent was and they're able to easily say like, oh, I see you're calling about a declined transaction. Like, let me help you with that. And so just fully integrating end to end the capabilities of the front door with the rest of the contact center. And then, I'd say one other thing that dramatically changed through these capabilities, and I think most people that have been in the contact center in the space for a while will appreciate this, is there's kind of a dichotomy in the contact center. You either go for generalization or you go for specialization. And there's benefits to each. If you're generalization, then you've got better staffing conditions, you've got kind of lower unit costs typically, higher occupancy, more efficiency, but you may lose some of the efficacy that comes with specialization for high complex topics. If you go with specialization, you typically have higher efficacy, but you've got higher costs. You've got to staff those differently. You actually have higher transfer rates because your general population has to transfer those calls to your specialized groups. And so when we moved into conversational experience and true natural language understanding, we were able to say, okay, I can actually route the right calls to the specialized agents and take advantage of both specialization and generalization, reducing transfer rates, improving net promoter score, and improving efficacy. And so things, again, that were just never possible, change the way that we actually run, staff, and manage the contact center. And we imagine that happening, again, as another step change as we start to take advantage of, the new capabilities that we're even talking about this morning. And, another thing is, we have a very pragmatic approach to AI. Often we'll go out and spend time with our team leads and agents, and there's often a question of hey, how should I think about AI in my jobs, and are my jobs going away? And Discover has been very intentional and will remain that way. We're building capabilities that make it easier for our agents to be better, faster, and stronger. And so certainly our unit costs are reducing, and our agents are able to handle more volume per hour, per day, per month, right? But we're able to take all of that investment and put that back in the company and grow the business. And so, but our agents are feeling the benefits. They're getting the tools, they're getting the capabilities, they're having less transfers, they're seeing the improvements in their metrics. And so again, that pragmatic approach to AI has helped, overall the Discover operations population be excited about these changes and excited about kind of the capabilities that we're bringing to them. And, through these improvements, overall, the agents are able to just spend more time building stronger relationships and less time kind of with managing just transactional, mundane banking. So I think with that, I'll just leave you with a few things. Sorry, none of my images work. I promise you they're not all caution signs. But I would say that, the partnership with Omilia has been great. It's been transformative for the contact center. We've been able to use that capability in so many ways to change the way that we do business. I talked a little bit about our commitment to responsible AI and pragmatic AI and just making sure that you're being transparent about its usage, but you're also using it in ways that truly does make it easier for your employees and your associates. And all of these changes have, again, led us to an environment that lets us improve the way we do customer support for all of Discover. So that's the content for the day. Hopefully you enjoyed it.